Hey guys, my name is Scott Haggins, and today I want to talk to you guys about slide guitar. And when it comes to slide, I like to think of three T's. So we're going to go over technique, theory, and tone. So let's start off with technique. Um, Different people like to put slides on different fingers. A lot of people like the pinky. That's uncomfortable for me. I tend to put it on my middle, and it just gives me the best control. So with the slide, you don't want to press down into the string like you normally do with your finger, because what you'll get is this sort of effect, and it's basically just like your finger. Really, with the slide, you want a kind of like a slide between the notes. Ah, there we go. To where you can kind of hear all the little micro pitches in between. So I'm on the fifth fret here of the G string, and I'm just going to lightly touch the slide on the string. Okay, so that's a good place to start. Is you just lightly touch, and you want to be over a fret. So if you notice on the fifth fret, I'm actually putting my slide over the fifth fret because the slide acts like a movable fret. So we want it to be in line with those so that it stays in tune. Okay. Now, once you get this first part of the technique, what you want to start doing is you want to start sliding to other frets. So now I'm going to slide to the, let's slide to the seventh fret. And your goal is to try to slide without any buzzes. Okay? It's a little bit of a touch. If you're pressing too hard, it'll kind of sound like that. So you want a nice glide in between the notes, and then also practice going backwards. And you want to make sure that you stay on top of the fret. While you're learning in the beginning, it'd be good for you to look maybe at a tuner to make sure that when you go from one note to the other, that you're staying in tune. After you get your initial slides down here, try adding more strings. So now I'm going to do the D string and the G string at the same time. Okay, and then back down, and then maybe try going to other frets. So I'm gonna go from the fifth fret to the 10th fret. Okay, and notice too, when I land on a fret, sometimes I kind of do this wiggling motion. That's kind of like your vibrato. And that just gives a little bit more life to the notes. So this is kind of normal. And then with vibrato, you don't want to go too far off from the fret like this. It'll just make it way too out of tune. So that's just a little bit of a touch. Okay, so that's pretty much the basics of the technique of slide. So when it comes to individual notes, it's pretty much just like, how you would play a scale, right? So if I play a normal like blues scale, okay, you're gonna do that same thing, just with the slide. And if you might notice that in my right hand, I'm doing some finger picking. Sometimes I'll do finger picking. Sometimes I'll use the actual pick. So with this, I tend to use finger picking to have a little bit better control. Because sometimes when you're playing, you don't want the slide entirely. So I'll pick, then I'll stop the string with my finger, then I'll pick, stop the string, pick, stop the string. I'm just resting my finger on the string. But sometimes you do want that side. Okay, so that's all personal preference, really, when it comes down to it. With the pick, you can still mute it, and I'm doing that mainly with my thumb as I'm holding the pick. But it's a little bit harder. So at first you might want to try to use some finger picking for that. This is theory. So essentially, when it comes to slide, you have melody, and then you have chords. So melody, you pretty much just follow the scale and play like normal, but with a slide. So what I really want to talk about more, which I think is a little bit more useful, is chords. So the idea behind slide is that you, on your guitar, your open fourth string, third string, and second string make a G major chord. And so the G is on the third string, which is really important to remember, because as you're making chords, that's going to be like your root note there for major chords. So if this is a G, that's going to mean if I put my slide on the first fret, that makes an A flat or a G sharp. Then if I go to my second fret, that makes A, because the note that I'm playing on the third string is an A. This note is a B flat, so that means it's going to be a B flat major chord. And then we have B, C, C sharp, D, E flat, E, F, and so on and so forth. So basically, when I play these three strings here, I am making a major chord. So let's say if I was in the key of C, the fifth fret is C. So if I play those three strings with my slide on the fifth fret, I'm making a C major chord. F is on the 10th fret of that string. So there's my F major chord. G is on the 12th fret, and that's my G major chord there. C, F, G, back to C. So basically I'm just moving a major chord around. Okay, but what about minor chords? Those are important too. Well, the top three strings, your first string, second string, and third string, make an E minor chord. So when you want to play minor chords, you want to be playing the top three strings. So the minor chords in the key of C, we have A minor. So whatever note that you play on your first string, that's your root note of the chord. So A is on the 5th fret here. So that's my A minor chord. You also have D minor, which is on the 10th fret. And then you also have E minor in the key of C, which is on the 12th fret. Your major chords are the second, third, and fourth string, and then your minor chords are the first, second, and third string. Third and last T is tone. So I personally, and this is where it's going to maybe deviate from player to player, but But I personally love to have a little bit of delay, a little bit of reverb on my slide. Something that you definitely probably want to have is compression, because it just helps the notes sustain for a long amount of time. So I've been using compression this whole video. Without it, it'll sound like this. I mean, the notes kind of just die away too quickly. There, the note lasts for a long amount of time. I also like to use a little bit of drive. So I'm going to throw on some drive here. Okay, and kind of give some life to it there. And now we'll start adding some of the wet effects I have. So here is some delay. And you want it to typically be like quarter notes that go with it. You don't, I mean, you can do dotted eighth if you want. I don't personally like the sound of that, so I'm going to stick with quarter notes here. Okay, and then now I'm going to add a little bit of reverb here, just a touch of reverb. Let me see. Oh yeah, right here. Okay, so that's similar to what I was playing in the intro, but I did have one extra layer of reverb on there, so I'm actually stacking some verbs here to give it just a nice like smeary sound. And I'm also using my volume pedal to kind of swell into some of those notes, which is also just a stylistic preference. Here's without the volume pedal. Here's with some volume pedal. Fun. The last thing about tone is the kind of slide. So I have been really loving this brass slide recently. It's just nice and bright, and it helps you stand out in a mix. Some other options are glass. Glass is really good if you want like a warm, subtle tone to your slide. Also, they make porcelain slides as well. And that also adds depth of warmth, and it makes it a little bit easier to slide across the strings, in my opinion. But there's also like rock slides and stuff. I've actually never used a rock slide, but I recommend if you kind of want that country sort of kind of twang to your slide sound, I recommend a brass slide. But yeah. If you have any personal questions about slide and slide technique, maybe like right here is my Instagram handle. I don't know where this is right now, but hopefully it'll be here. And then also I want to thank Rockin' Customs for partnering with me to release this video. I hope this helps someone, and yeah. Enjoy your slide guitar playing. Have a nice day.